How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Welcome back to CautionCreations.com. Damn it. No, we are get off the damn fence. Hey, I've been filming podcasts the last 3 days for CautionCreations.com. I'm mixing up my platform. Guys, we appreciate you checking us out tonight. Get off the damn fence. I'm Larry Caution, joined by Calvin Thomas, Justin B. the Barber Harris. Gentlemen, forgive me. You know, when you shelling out this content, sometimes it just run together. But hopefully, if you all tuning in, y'all watch my Survivor preview, Survivor 50 starting on Wednesday night, big time. Check it
I
out.
shared that.
I appreciate you, brother.
I have
But
no idea what you was talking about though, but I shared it.
hey, Survivor's a big deal, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. Calvin, what's happening, brother?
What's going on with y'all, man? What's
Hey
going on
man,
with
ain't
y'all?
nothing, man. The missus celebrated her birthday.
Yeah,
Oh, happy
spending
birthday.
spending my damn money. But yeah, happy birthday, happy belated birthday. Of course, on the day it snows, so
Yeah,
got
yeah.
me out in these elements, risking my life for dinner. So
Well,
glad to
that's
be
Got
here
heat.
with y'all once again.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. So we were off last week. We appreciate y'all. Look, it was no NBA. I know the All-Star game was the previous Sunday, but then the NBA was on break, NFL on break. We decided, hey, let's take a little break too. But we back tonight. But we back with a special 1 hour abbreviated open court version of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right. We're just going to open it up. You know what I mean? If y'all in the comment section and y'all want to throw out some stuff, hear us talk about it, hit us up. You know what I mean? Share the live. Let everybody know we on tonight, 1 hour, 10 to 11, talking about all the latest in sports. And because we talking about anything, I want to open this thing up with what I just witnessed. And it's kind of still happening. The Cleveland Cavaliers is putting foot in the ass of the New York Knicks. I don't know what's going on. What's happening here? James Harden went to Cleveland in the trade. A lot of people say he was chasing money and not really in recognition. Is the long game. Next year they might get LeBron, put a little team together. James Harden, the only player LeBron really ain't played with. Is it the long game? Put LeBron with Donovan, James, but these guys have been looking pretty good. Now I know they got beat down by OKC the other night, but other than that, they kind of been
Yeah,
winning every game. And tonight, an impressive victory. I'm not watching it close enough, but I know Justin is. So, Justin, what's happening? What's going on with the Knicks?
We are a what you call a three point or die team. If our threes are on, we gonna win some games. If they are not, we're gonna keep throwing them out there, and then we're gonna lose some games, and they're gonna look bad. And that's what's happening right now. We're like, besides Cat and Brunson, we like 5 for 20 something from the 3 point line. It's putrid. And Cleveland's taking advantage of it. So it is what it is. It's one of those fates that I just got. I'm okay with it. That's just going how we play. Um, I would like some extra verification when it comes to some reassurance if the threes aren't following what we're going to do. But that is not Mike Brown's system. So we going to rock out with how we going to rock out. And hopefully it doesn't continue too much. But yeah, shout out to Cleveland. I like the James Harden situation. Like I said, I think he puts players where they're supposed to be. Donovan can be just a scorer. He ain't got to worry about facilitating like that. Cleveland got two bigs. Jared Allen had a monster game like last week sometime. That was because of James Harden. Let's just call it
Yeah,
what it is.
The layup
Um,
king.
and when James Harden, puts up less than 10 points in the playoffs, it's going to be those other guys that's supposed to step up. And James Harden can still assist when needed. So
Yeah.
that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to play the playmaker role because the scoring won't be there, and we all know why. Like he's just not a playoff guy. It is what it is. No need to trying to force it now. It's over. That's his career.
Calvin, what you been saying out of this Cleveland team?
it's interesting because as much struggles as James Harden's had, in the playoffs, he's not the first option, he's not the second option on this Cleveland team. But they are dangerous. I think they have the best odds as of today to come out the East and go into the finals. And that's just because of James Harden. Darius Garland's still injured. I know James Harden fits better, in my opinion, next to Donovan Mitchell. He can get him the rock. He can score when he needs to, and he makes Jared Allen better. Like you say, he had 26 and 15 or something last week. So he's just putting up big numbers as well. So this team can be dangerous, in my opinion. With with James Harden at the helm. And I like this team. They're deep, and they've been playing, like I said, playing better without Darius Garland. And James Harden just fitting in seamlessly. You know, he fits in better because he can score when needed to. He plays that point, gets other people involved, gets Jared Allen involved, and gets him top and scoring. They dangerous. But on the Knicks side, I think we had this conversation a couple weeks ago where, like, when they run that pick and roll with Brunson and Cat, and Brunson takes like 90% of the shots, and Cat, it's really no pick and roll. It's just Brunson getting the ball 9 times out of 10. So, look, he needs to get the ball in his post where he wants to score.
Thank you.
I don't understand why he doesn't get those easy buckets when he's arguably best power forward with Giannis out in the East.
Let's stay with that for a second.
Mhm.
You know, recently Cat has been under the I guess the eye of some legends and those that talk basketball. Shaquille O'Neal for one, Charles Barkley for the next one. Both guys, Charles Barkley, MVP, top 5 multiple years when it comes to the race. Shaquille O'Neal, enough to be said. You ain't gotta say too much about Shaq, 4-time champion, so on and so forth. So they recently pretty much came down on Cat. Cat was saying, you know, they was challenging him to be better. They was challenging him to be
the
like
All-Star game, right?
It was right
Before.
after the All-Star game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So they were just saying, like, yo, if y'all want to punch, you have to be the 1 or the 2. You cannot fall back to 3-4. You can't just play team basketball. You have to be the dominant force that you can be. And they both was kind of saying that. And then Charles was like, well, you can't force a killer out of someone that's not a killer. You know, what are you going to do with that situation? And Cat was like listening, like, and he was giving you the team answer. If you were sitting in the class of NBA preparation when it comes to PR, they're going to tell you to say what? You know, I'm just here to play team basketball. As long as we get a championship, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter who's there's no INT. Yeah. He went through the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
And they just wasn't having it. So yeah, I know that team is near and dear to my heart, but Cal, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I've said on multiple occasions, this Cat Brunson pick and roll on offense does not work unless Cat gets the ball, you know, at least make him respectable. And not just pop out for a 3 occasionally. Roll to the basket, get the ball, get easy buckets. He is the second best option on the team, but he's not taking those shots. And part of that goes to Brunson. If you're the point guard, you got to get people in a position to score. You have the ball in your hands. You're the best guard, best shooter on that team, but you still have to get people in a position to score. It's too much ISO ball, in my opinion. It's too much Cat. Here you go, do your thing, and not get him in an easy position. Now you have him taking floaters in the mid lane, taking hook shots. He's just trying to get shots any way he can and not in the floor of the offense. And then when it comes back to the other end of the court, if you're not getting the ball, you're not going to be enthused on defense, enthused to get that rebound, enthused to run the court and get easy baskets. So it's all about getting him motivated, keeping him motivated, in my opinion. And that's just not what Brunson is doing. I'm not saying Brunson is great. Brunson is, you know, top 5, 6 in the MVP race, but he's got to do more and keeping everybody else happy. He can get any shot he wants to, but he doesn't need to take those shots early in the game, in my opinion, unless he's trying to stay in rhythm. Get other people involved, get them easy shots, get them motivated on offense, and then let that offense come to you when you need to, late in the shot clock, in the second quarter, in that first half. So I think that's what he needs to do. But that's what you expect a better offense from this team this year.
Does the elevation of OG's offensive game impact what Cat is able to offensively produce? Because it seemed like to me, OG putting up consistent numbers most nights. And is he being featured more, or is he just getting fed, or is it more one-on-one? Justin, what's your thoughts there?
They told Cat, and that's what Cat was saying in the beginning of the season, he doesn't know what his role is. They don't want the ball in his hands as much. But I guess my counterpoint to what you just brought up with OG is JB for me. I've been a proponent for this for the last 2-3 years. He needs to be a pass first guy. And I think sometimes JB gets into I have to shoot, I have to do this, I have to be Captain America, Captain New York. And it lets everyone else kind of watch and just let JB be JB, and that won't work. You saw what it got us. It got us a very tired, a very fatigued JB in the playoffs, and that's what we don't want. So Mike Brown been trying to go against that the whole entire year. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
But even tonight, look at the shot distribution. Brunson 6 of 19, Bridges 6 of 17. Josh Hart 4-11.
How many shots Cat got?
5.
Yeah, I know.
And he made
Yeah.
all 5. Like,
Yeah, you gotta be featured at that point. And
What did Shaq call him?
I don't know what he say. What do you call him?
Call that man soft, charming.
Nah,
To his face.
I wasn't gonna repeat that.
Like, come on, man. Like, at the end of the day, like Shaq used to say, 3 shots a quarter. I mean, if you make 3 buckets a quarter, you've done your job. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, you make 3 buckets a quarter, you've done your job. Get some rebounds, average 24 and 10, 24 and 12. That's just not a bad stat line for a big man. But at the end of the day, you can't take 5 shots. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But again, we'll continue to monitor that.
Yeah.
Another point. The Lakers took on the Celtics the other night. And, you know, I know it was overblown. A lot of people making a big thing with LeBron said, but I've been talking about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown should be an MVP consideration. The way he's played without Jason Tatum, why wouldn't he be up there? Now, I know Luka got the points, but the wins aren't there. The Celtics are actually in contention in the East and playing respectable above what people thought they would be coming into the season. To me, that's a leading MVP candidate, if nothing else. We know that Shea is Shea. I'm not going to take nothing away from Shea. I'm not taking nothing away from Joke, but above expectation, that to me is MVP. Not, oh, we knew y'all were great. Y'all were great again. Okay, cool. Nobody was saying Boston was still going to be Boston. Everybody said, what's the East going to look like now that Boston not going to be who they were? Who knows what's going to happen now? What's your thoughts on that, Calvin?
Look, he's top 5, not disagreeing with anything you say. I think they're second in the East right now. No one had them that high. But you got to respect my man, Cade Cunningham. I'm on the Cade Cunningham bandwagon. Lead team with the best record in the Eastern Conference. I think they're within 2 or 3 games of Oklahoma City. And he's the best guard in the East at this point in time. You got to put some respect on Cade Cunningham, leading the Detroit Pistons to the best record in the East. We didn't have them as the best team in the East. We had them as a playoff team. We had them as maybe a top 4 team. But Cade Cunningham has come to play this season. He's been the best guard on that team. He's been the best player in the East at this year. You got to put respect on Cade, in my opinion. Cade's got to be top 2. And I'm not saying he's second right now. If the MVP vote ended today, you got to respect Cade. And Jaylen Brown's easily top 4. I got him behind Shea and Jokic. If they can both get 65 games, I think that's how it's going to end up. But you got to respect Cade, especially if he finishes number 1 in the East. If he finishes number 1 in the East with a better record than Denver, a better record than OKC, or within a game or 2, it's hard to doubt. It's hard to doubt Cade, in my opinion, for MVP.
What you think, Justin?
Well, he wasn't going to get it, in my opinion. But at the same time, I mean, I'm going to go either one of them, Cade or Jaylen. The problem is this 65 game thing. That's the main issue. Wemby's like less than 5 games away from that. Jokic got like 1 game away from that. Luka got about 4 to 5 games away. So
I think
the
Shea
other
got
guys,
like 8, 7, something like that.
Yeah, Shea's on the lower end. I think it's lower than 7. And Cade got like 11 games away from it. So Cade's gonna be good unless something crazy happens. So he might default be the MVP, and that's I don't like that narrative. I don't like that. That's going to be
default.
The future.
That's disrespectful.
That's going to be default because people
won't be
like other
25.
people.
I mean, you acting like he out here averaging 30 or something. He averaging 25. Jaylen Brown averaging 29 points a game, and they only got him by a few games. I mean,
I think JB should be higher. I think he should definitely be in the mix because Boston is a threat right now.
And you averaging 29 compared to 25.
So when Tatum comes back and takes away some of his shine,
will he come back right away?
He coming back this year.
I don't. You know what? That's probably the number one thing. What happens when Tatum comes back?
Yeah. I think it's more next year than this year.
It's going to start as soon as he hit the floor. And the problem. This is not even a problem. This is a situation. Jaylen Brown is not Scottie Pippen. He don't have a Scottie Pippen mentality. He is not going to say, hey, man, hey, I know you was gone this whole time and you was the guy, and I'll fall back So you can
I
Jalen's
mean,
going to be the same Jalen Brown, and Tatum's
Well,
going to have
honestly,
this finals
to fall
MVP,
in
this
line.
finals
I
MVP,
think
Jalen Brown. So
Tatum's
why take
game
a step
is
back?
more of a number 2 game.
Tatum was the better player, in my opinion. That whole season they won the title. Jalen had the better playoff run. So I'm not going to say Tatum. Tatum is a better shooter. Tatum is a
That's
better
my point.
scorer. Brown plays the tougher player defensively, but they switch off as much as well. But Tatum is bigger body, he gets more rebounds. He's better ball handler. We talked about Jalen Brown not being able to go left, and all the times he has that crossover and lose the ball. So they're interchangeable, but they fit well together. But the problem becomes next year when JB can say, "I'll led the team to X amount of wins when you weren't here," and Tatum says, "Well, I'll led him to a title." Do we get that clash then? We've always expected that clash. We always thought that at some point they would need to be split up. Does it happen next year, or does it start next year because of what happens this year and JB leading his team to where they are?
I still think because Tatum is a better shooter, like you said, coming off an injury, he can fit in seamlessly, just being a shooter. Like, go out there and shoot. The game can still revolve around him, and Tatum can come in. He don't even need to start. You know what I mean? They got a good thing going right now. Like, I think he cemented him as the leader of that team. And I think they responded. Like, the team is actually responded.
So do you think they would have as good of a record if the roles were reversed and Tatum was playing and Jalen Brown was out?
I don't know. That's a good question. That might be the sole answer to they interchangeable. What you think, Justin?
I don't think they would have the same exact record.
You think they would be better or worse?
I think they would have a worse record, to be honest with you.
I think there's a toughness that Jalen Brown brings.
It's that when you know you in a foxhole, and I think this is why he shined in the playoffs and the other guy didn't shine as bright. I'm not saying he didn't shine, but he didn't get those awards. When you look at it and say, "Yo, JB, I'm gonna ride with him," tooth and nail. It is what it is. Tatum seemed like the type, like, "Yo, hey man, we win some, we lose some. We'll just keep playing the game." Nah, I'm not trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? That's a time and a place for that. But I'm not trying to hear that in the playoffs. I'm not trying to hear when my other guy is out. No, I gotta look at you and I gotta believe that you, as in the leader of the team, is gonna be like, "Yo, we good. Don't worry about it. I got y'all." I don't think Tatum has that fire to do that. So I don't think they have the same record. I think it'd be worse.
Okay. What you got, Justin?
All right, that I did lead into that one, so I'm gonna lead into another one then. Let's switch gears. I know y'all been watching the Winter Olympics. Just tell me y'all thoughts and opinions on what y'all been noticing about the snowy weather out there. How was the Winter Olympics for you guys?
I'm not a hockey guy, so I couldn't care less.
You didn't feel that? You didn't feel the 2-1 victory?
No, never. I've never watched a complete hockey game in my life. And
Calvin, you too?
No.
It's
I turned on overtime because I saw it went to overtime.
No,
and that
it's a
was
racist sport.
The extent.
And they all went to see Trump. Fuck them. So no, not for me. But I was enjoying some curling though. Last week 1 was my week, baby. Y'all can keep week 2, but week 1, that was the Winter Olympics for me. Great time, phenomenal. USA didn't do too great, but overall, very entertaining. And Peacock is like the greatest app for the Olympics. You can just watch anything you want anytime. Yeah. It's the best. Pick and choose what you want.
When they had the Summer Olympics a couple years ago, and they had like every event
all
that
the
you
games,
could go back and watch. Yeah, well, you could watch it live because I forgot.
Back in the day, remember you had to catch it. If you ain't catch it, stuff came on like 3 in-the-morning, 2 in-the-morning. They show a replay in the afternoon or something. You had to DVR, record it. Now you just go in there and watch on demand. It's the best. What have you enjoyed, Justin?
Nothing. I am not a fan of this Winter Olympics whatsoever. It's just not my. I tried. I guess the years that I did watch it, like you said, sometimes depending on where it's at, you stay up 12 o'clock in the morning watching live events or whatever the case. And that was like watching snowboarding and stuff like that. That was cool. But now I guess I'm older. I'm trying to watch.
older,
I'm
yeah.
I'm trying to get enthused with it. Yeah, I didn't care about the hockey thing whatsoever. Like America did. I know that was the first goal that we won since like 1980 or something. All right, cool.
Just the Miracle on Ice, but that was it. I didn't know that.
That might have been it. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That was a Russia, I believe.
I
So
don't care.
you know,
if people want to take my sports card because I'm not a hockey guy, too bad. That's not my thing. You know what I mean? We didn't grow up with that around here in Baltimore for me. But yeah, I just think when remember the Jamaican bobsledding team, Cool Runnings. Remember that? I used to watch the
Where are those brothers from?
You know what I mean? But
Jamaica.
That made me want to watch bobsledding. But other than that, I started watching that years ago too. Yeah, I got nothing for you, brother. Probably why we didn't have a show last week.
I did watch the female bobsledding team. So I caught the reruns on that. So
we're gonna keep that smooth, man. All right. So did y'all watch Clarissa Shields this past weekend? Woo.
I did. It was
good.
Just another dominant performance.
Yeah.
She's a hell of a fighter, man. And you can't really take nothing away from her. It's just her competition is what it is. There's not too many Clarissa Shields out there.
Sure.
But Shorty fought hard. But
yeah, she did. Mm-hmm.
You know, the combinations, the flowing, the tacking on points and stuff like that. Clarissa just knows how to box.
Yeah.
And she has a far better skill set than other people, and she's trying to get as much money as she can so she won't end up like other people later on down the road.
Sure.
Yeah.
So are y'all excited for May Pack 2 since we lead into boxing?
You know, you heard what I said. Absolutely pathetic. This is bad, man. And maybe you can give me some more background. I'm not as well read on this situation, but for a man to have made as much money as he's had. And remember, if you have not been paying attention, Floyd has been actually fighting nonstop the last several years here in exhibitions, though.
Yeah.
Like, they don't count against his record. He's been in Japan.
Tyson one coming up too, right?
Yeah, he got Tyson coming up soon. He's been having these little exhibition things, but why go back into a sanctioned fight and risk your 50-0 record against Manny and Pac? I'm not going to say Manny going to beat him, but it's a stunt show. What are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? I'm going to watch it. I mean, but what are we doing?
I'm not paying for it. More so,
it's Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, I don't know. I mean, I remember the rumor of him having to spend X amount, hundreds of $1 million to get out of, I don't remember if it was Dubai, Saudi Arabia, somewhere in the Middle East, where he had those troubles when he after he had a fight and something allegedly occurred with somebody in his camp with him, and he was stuck over there. He basically was forbidden to leave.
Yeah, he was detained. Is the word?
He was detained. Yeah, but it wasn't officially though, because he didn't pay bail. That's what I'm saying. Like he paid something to leave the country, but it wasn't like he was arrested and had to pay bail. That's why I didn't want to say detained.
He paid the mob, or
I don't remember what it was based off the charges, and I don't know if he was even charged. It was him or somebody in his camp allegedly, and he had to pay to actually leave shortly after a fight. And the rumor was that was about $100 million for him to actually come back to the U.S. because they took his passport, they grounded his plane. So I say that to say maybe he does need money. I don't know, but
I just seen Floyd like 2 years ago flaunting about buying all these properties and making money off of that, and maybe they went up.
Real estate market ain't good either. I mean, like that's where all your money is in investment in real estate. I'm not saying he needs the money.
It's not good, man.
But I am saying him and Pacquiao are cool. So if you need a payday, last time was $400 million. You can get half of that.
The richest prize fight in sports history.
You can get half of that.
Richest prize fight in sports history.
It's about his legacy at this point. It's like, can he still box? If he wasn't undefeated, this wouldn't even been. Yes, you got to handle your money better, but it wouldn't be like a crazy story. It's the fact that he's flirting with that. If you lose, that's that zero going. You know what I'm saying? And that's your claim to fame. That's your claim against every other boxer that ever lived. You can always say, "Well, I did this. I fought this many people. I brought in this gate, and I never been. I never lost." That was him. So when you take that L, if you give him an L, let's say Pacquiao gives him an L, now he lumps himself in with everybody else. Like it's like, oh, and then you're gonna see, well, since he got a loss, or Sugar Ray Leonard was better, and this and that, you're gonna start going that route. So it's effing with his legacy, but at the end of the day, this is still Floyd. He still has the reflexes. He never really left the game, like you said earlier, Larry. So I'm not expecting him to go out there and make a fool of himself. It's just the fact that you're in a situation that makes a fool out yourself. Got to do better.
The Tyson one is worse. I mean, they're not even close to the same weight class. Like, what are we doing? I mean, I get it's not sanctioned, but Tyson not going out there not to try to hit him. You know what I mean? Like,
try not to hit Logan Paul
and Roy Jones too.
So,
yeah, man, this is sad, man. What is happening to the sport we once loved? I still love boxing, but damn, what the hell?
What was the last two good fights were involved Bud Crawford, who's retired. I mean, unless you count Shakur Stevenson, I didn't count that fight. But what
good fight? No, Tank had a good fight. Remember, a lot of people thought he lost.
That was what, last year?
2 years ago, wasn't it? His face was all lumped
Yeah,
up.
Bud has fought 3 times since then. That's why I was like the last, in my opinion. And
good fights. Who did he have a good fight against?
Bud Canelo was competitive.
Oh yeah, Canelo. Okay, yeah, Canelo. Yeah. Because Spence wasn't competitive.
No. Spence was competitive for a round, and then we saw
we pretty much close to a year to the day. Tank's last fight was March 1st
against Canelo.
Against Roach?
No, that was Roach. Yeah, that was a good fight. And I think Roach just got him a fight off of that. I think he's fighting Shakur.
He fighting, yeah.
But a lot of people thought Roach won that fight.
Yeah, because the rematch was supposed to be in August, then he pushed it off the fight.
And then he got
Jake Paul.
Yeah. And then he got in trouble. Anyway, I don't know, man. Boxing is kind of taking a tumble. But look, you got Ronda Rousey coming out of retirement to take on Gina Carano. If you don't know who Gina Carano was, she was the original Ronda Rousey, but she was on Strikeforce before women were allowed into UFC.
She was American Gladiators.
She was like the best fighter in the world. And Elite XC used to be on
highly
CBS.
Opinionated.
Huh? Yes.
Highly opinionated.
Mm-hmm. That's why she's been kind of blackballed. She was on the show on
Mandalorian. I got you.
Mandalorian. Yeah. Yes, she
Don't
was
worry
on that. But she got fired from that because of stuff she has said.
Mm-hmm.
And
she got fired early, right? She only did one season.
Yeah. She was on the season because when Sasha Banks came on there, I think she was still on there. Yeah, she was on season 1.
Yeah.
Sasha came on season 1.
Sasha was not. She was on season 3.
Sasha came for 2 seasons though. I think they introduced her in like season 2, and then she came back for season 3. She didn't really have no speaking roles like that.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. But she was originally on the Mandalorian, and Gina, she was a big time fighter. But she got herself into some trouble with Dana White. They got into it. That's why she never went to the UFC. So Ronda actually took this fight to the UFC and wanted to have it there. But because UFC is now on Paramount and they don't make money off pay-per-view, they couldn't get the guaranteed money. So MVP Promotions, Jake Paul's promotion, said, we'll pay you. And now that fight's going to be on Netflix. Netflix is getting everything, man. They're getting all the big fights. And for the viewer, for the customer, I ain't mad. You know what I mean? Gone are the days where we got to shell out. Well, I was never shelling out, but you don't have to shell out $100 or $80 for a fight. You can just flip on your Netflix, flip on your Paramount Plus, and watch any fight that's coming out. And I think that's good. Then you had TKO. They just took away Eddie Hearn's best fighter. So he's pissed off because they're trying to take over boxing. There's a lot going on in the fight game right now that is really a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Turkey Al-Ashi, the Saudi prince or whatever like that, is trying to take over American sports and uses money trying to infiltrate and take WBD from Netflix, trying to buy it, and now he's pumping money into Paramount Plus to try to buy that. And with that comes the whole sports package, comes HBO Max, comes all the properties that they own. It's a lot. And college basketball, March Madness comes with that. Man, this guy trying to take over, man. He already got wrestling with the Saudi shows. WrestleMania is going over there next year. Like, he trying to legitimize his country by sports washing and showing everybody that, hey, we're a regular country. Look, we got all your look. Cardi B just performed over there. Dave Chappelle did a special over there. You got some of the biggest stars in the world going over there. Tom Brady going over there for a flag football game against with other football players. They paying them big money. And Logan Paul and they are really trying to take over the sports world. What's your thoughts on all that, Calvin?
They got the money to do so, and they try to get their hands in everything from the Mavs and Mark Cuban to reportedly back with Vince McMahon and WWE. So when you have that money, you're trying to.
That's a rumor. Yeah.
When you're trying to have your hands in everything, so you can control this narrative and make yourself control the narrative about what your country is and who they are not, and put out a more favorable opinion.
Exactly.
That's what it's about. And if you can get superstars, i.e., like you said, Tom Brady, i.e., like you said, the WWE, to put this picture out and change the narrative, and you can make even more money, it's all about marketing. It's all about control. I don't know if it's going to work because, and even still now with sports gambling and everything, and you're trying to take a piece of that as well. I don't know if it's going to actually work, but it does infuse a new revenue stream into all these leagues. So you want to create revenue. That's one way to do it when you get this money in there, but it's not good for every league, in my opinion. It's going to be pick and choose. We've seen it in basketball. We've seen it with slightly in football, but at some point, once that table turns and there's too much of that coming over here, I don't think it's going to turn people off from sports as a whole. But that's just my opinion.
What you think, Justin?
I guess the most important thing is they are, I guess, seeing a weakness or a hole in how we do sports, and they can exploit it by throwing money at it. Well, if you leave yourself vulnerable, that's what happens when all they got to do is throw money, and now you see better boxing fights and things like that. People been saying for boxing, y'all got to get y'all issue together for the last 30 years, if not longer than that. And y'all got people ducking people, different promotions and stuff, and they be like, yo, I got a certain amount of money. Yo, you fight him, y'all good? And it's like, and they fight, and it happens.
You all right.
Yeah.
You all right. So they are capitalizing off of nostalgia. You know what I mean? And they're paying for it. That's what the people want.
That's what the people want to see. You gotta give the people what they want. That's what they're doing. So I'm not mad at it. It's just we gotta. I'm saying I'm not a part of it, but the people in America, they gotta. If you want stuff to stay here, then you gotta get better. It's just it is what it is. Have better program, have better policies, have a way for people to get more money. They'll fight. They'll fight. They'll play. They'll entertain. Whatever it is, they'll do it here just as much as they do it over there. But it's a hole in the system. They take advantage of it. It is what it is.
I'm telling you, this is what his whole goal is. If you look, he started it with wrestling. When they started going to Saudi, he paid for big matches. He said, "I'm going to pay a certain amount of money. I'm going to get Shawn Michaels come out of retirement.
Yep.
I'm going to get Triple H, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin." He paid for all the stars from the nostalgia area. Hogan, like Goldberg, he was paying Brock big money to come over there. And that's what drew. Now he's doing it with football. Like, okay, them old guys can't play no more. Let's do a flag football league. Bring Tom Brady. Bring all the big veterans. And guess what? You're going to watch. You're going to watch. It's like a couple years ago when they was playing golf. Like
they had the Live Tour. Yeah.
And
they started pulling all the best golfers in the world. They offered Tiger $1 billion to go play.
So it's like it is a strategy to it. And if UFC keep paying people peanuts, they're gonna pay top dollar and be like, look, Conor, John Jones, all them fighters that you miss seeing, Ron, we'll pay you top dollar and you can perform, right? And we look, that's what the people want.
They only want to take one.
That's it, man.
You ain't splitting the purse.
And you know what's next? And I thought about this. Shout out to Ice Cube, man. You had a great idea. It's still going strong. The Big Three is a great concept. Is it mainstream? enough where people are paying attention to it week to week? No. But on its face, it's a good concept. I'm telling you, if Turkey Al-Sheikh gets a hand of that concept and he throws big money at some of the big names that's retiring now, your Dwayne Wades, your Carmelo Anthony's, they're not going to play in the big three. But if he start luring them with big money, don't be surprised if you start this one-on-one tournament we've been talking about and all this other stuff. That'll be where it's at, because that's who they're going to get the money from. The NBA not going to pay. He's going to pay.
You know, there was a rumor of LeBron partnering up with them to start his league, or I don't know if it was. I think it was a Big Three league, his basketball league post retirement, because the Vegas expansion team didn't go his way, and that was a rumor for a minute. But those talks have calmed down since they started to heat up with Seattle and Vegas and the expansion team. So it's always a market out there for money. If you have an idea and you can bring the star power, there's a market out there for you. If it was a LeBron James and a Kevin Durant basketball league in 3 years, people are gonna pay to watch that, because they're gonna want to see those stars, either see if they still have it or see them fail. But either way, they're gonna pay to see it.
But if, like you say, if they do 3-on-3 or just pick up games, you know what I mean? They can do a 2-week exhibition where they just do a tournament or something like that. People going to watch it, man. It's like that would be something. If you pay the right amount of money, you can pull it off. Justin.
No, I mean, you're 100% correct, because you alluded to the one-on-one tournament that the women just had from Unrivalry, and that was a great exhibition. That was a great one-on-one. You saw the different skill sets, and it was entertaining to see. And then at certain points when I was watching, I was like, yo, these girls they can flat out ball. I'm not saying they never could. It's just a difference when you see it one-on-one, and then all you kept thinking, at least all I kept thinking to myself was, the men will just never do this. They will never put their egos aside in order to do this, especially for what purse? They was getting who won? Chelsea Gray. She got like 200,000. You know how much she make of the season?
They not getting out of bed
about 200,000. You know what I'm saying?
That's their first.
That's not you got all that from a one-on-one tournament. These dudes not gonna do that, but. Like you're saying, just swinging back around to the other conversation, you let some of these Saudi dudes and stuff like that throw that purse at you. Hey, man, $20 million for a winner. They'll sign up for it.
Yes,
no questions asked. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I guess, what would you do for money? Is that kind of a thing. But money makes the world talk. I would love to see a one-on-one based tournament with their backing financially, and we can really see some of these dudes hoop for real.
Yeah, I agree. And like I say, shout out to Ice Cube. Great idea. It's still going strong. You got the low mid-level guys still performing in it. But without those big stars and enticing them to come, it's just not going to have that fanfare. You gotta have some hooks. You know what I mean? Speaking of hooks, a lot of stuff going on right now in the world of baseball. And the Orioles, man. I was walking by, because I work downtown. I walked by Camden Yards, and that big ass screen up there, boy, man, it looked good. I was by that other day, man. Good.
I ain't seen it. It looked good.
Yeah, there's pictures out there.
It's good, man. I've seen it in person. It's big. Like before you could see like a little bit of the skyline headed to the warehouse. Not no more. And it's so funny. Last year, me and Kay went to the game. Only went to one game, and my favorite seat is behind home plate, like straight up. It's right behind home plate, and I can see the whole field. And you can see the screen in front of you, see home plate right down below you, everything. That's just my favorite view. When I had my season tickets, that's where I sat. And I honestly was looking out at that screen, and my eyes have just become so used to HD big screens at the Ravens Stadium.
It is grainy. It was grainy. Yeah, it was.
It was horribly grainy. Yeah. I'm trying to look at the score like, bro, what does that say? And Kate was like, I'm struggling to see it too. So it's like, I think our eyes get trained with the updated technology. Like back in the day when we didn't have HD, we just watched television. I'm sure our eyes were just used to that's what the TV looked like. But once you go HD and 4K, it's hard to go back. You know what I mean? So I'm so glad they made this upgrade. It was overdue, but at the end of the day, technology just started really getting to this point where it is now. But once your eye get trained to look at 4K and all these other XDs for the movie theaters and stuff like that, it's hard to go back to regular pictures. So, man, it's a much needed upgrade, and I'm glad they did it. What's your thoughts, Justin?
No, I mean, you have a way to say certain things, and I didn't even think about it. I didn't even put two and two together. When I went to the game last year with my daughter, I was like, God, if I didn't know who these players look like, it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for the other team, I was dead in the water. I was like, all right, I guess that looked like that person. I was struggling. But yeah, then you see like the numbers. Then you trying to make out what did this, and then they try to have like little games on the like little crowd games
still
stuff.
worked out, and to catch up in the relish.
Like, God damn. I'm talking about like it'd be like little audience games, stadium games on the screen. Like guess this or guess that. Like I can't see what I'm guessing. Like what we doing? So you're right. So when I go to, I'm going to a few games this upcoming year. I'm excited. I'm excited. Now that you said that, yeah, I'm excited. That's the first thing I'm gonna report back. Hey, yo, that screen is crazy.
It's big. Yeah. And they put the money into it. So, what's your thoughts? There was a couple of injuries here recently. Calvin, tell us about it.
Man, so we early last week, we got the news about why am I blanking on his name? The third baseman for the Gunner.
Jordan
Westburg, yes. He came with the oblique injury, and that turned into something worse. Into an elbow injury. Now, only thing I don't agree with the taking the shots and getting the injection into the elbow. It didn't work last year. Mm-hmm. It didn't work. Now, granted, it didn't work for. It was a pitcher that didn't work for. But however, it didn't work last year, and ultimately you have to have Tommy John surgery. Now you're hoping Westburg can come back by the end of April, but he's a third baseman. If I recall, that involves throwing the ball to first base, 100%. Which you're going to use your elbow to do. Now, if you're going to have him DH and not throw the ball, that's something different. But he's an integral part of your defense. So not really sure what to expect of that. I'm excited to see Kobe Mayo at third to see what he can do. They've moved him around so much in his year or year plus in the majors. Have him at third. If he's going to make errors on defense, is fine, but the bat should be awake. First home run out the gate from the former New York Met, the Polar Bear on the first in the first preseason and first spring training game. I'm sorry. That was exciting to see. This offense is coming to play. I think this offense has a chance to be great. The pitching, we'll see. But offensively, even without Westburg, this team will be able to hit and think it's going to score a lot of runs and put up a lot of numbers on that big screen in center field in Oriole Park. So excited for that this coming year.
Justin.
Shout out to Pete Alonso. That's who those that didn't know. The polar bear that he was referring to. It was nice to see that shot. Hopefully we get many more as the year go on. But Jordan Westburg, I think it's time to let him go now. It's time. He cannot stay healthy, and he's just going to be a hole in the offense, in the defense, really. As we go along with this, I know that it sucks or whatever the case, but hey man, how long we gonna keep going through this?
He's had fluke injuries. Let's not say that. He's had fluke injuries.
Every year is a goddamn fluke injury. I'm tired.
No. I'm not saying this is a fluke injury. This is his first real injury. But like diving into first base and breaking it or fracturing your thumb, is that a hustle play or not?
Well, you know what that means. That means you're injury prone, and we can fight it as long as we want to fight it, or we can just cut ties and try to get something for him. But I guess that might be rash, but it is what it is. I mean, that's what it sounds like, right? But no, shout out to Blaze Alexander. That's somebody that we picked up. We're gonna see a lot of Blaze Alexander playing throughout at damn near every position.
With no Jackson too. Yeah, you want to see a lot.
Exactly. So it's we needed the bats this year because I said the pitching is probably mid tier. We don't suck, but we're not like AT either. So we're like in the middle. So we're going to have to rely on our bats a little bit. And just the fact that we got to start the season off, from the behind, like, God, they're like, it's the start of the season, that kind of a thing. But, hopefully we'll get through it. I'm not worried, but, it's just something that we just got to deal with.
Yeah, 100%.
What you think about Darryl Strawberry comments about Pete Alonso saying he's going to regret not being a Met for his career?
Sound like I hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like I hate him.
Let him
win one here, and then see what happens. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, New York's New York. I'm not comparing New York to Baltimore, but Baltimore loves their Hall of Famers. Don't get it twisted. We love our superstars. As Cal, as Eddie Murray, as all these Frank Robinson and all. Like, we love
even the ones who not superstars. Adam Jones. I mean,
facts. Well, Adam's always welcome here. So
you know what I mean?
I don't like that. But it is what it is. Why? He should say that, right? He's a Met.
Yeah, a Met through and through. Yeah, good stuff. So another thing, college basketball is wrapping up. March Madness is quickly approaching as we get into the month of March this Sunday. We know March Madness is always that time you boil down to the top 64 teams and the conference title games start coming around. Man, we haven't talked a lot of college basketball thus far with the NFL and NBA and everything that's been going on. But if y'all been checking it out, what y'all been seeing, I've been entertained by some of the games I've been watching, especially, man, Carlos Boozer's son.
Yeah,
down there, man.
Cam.
Good God, I reckon, boy. Man, he's a powerhouse. He looked like he's a major prospect. Probably will do better than what we just saw from his predecessor, who's playing for Dallas right now, Cooper Flagg. He probably is going to come into the league one and done and be the next big thing next year. So it's been very, very interesting what we saw. I think he dropped like 44 tonight. A big game for him. But last week I seen him have he's just been having some great double, big time monster games, and it'll be interesting to see them heading into the tournament. Calvin, start with you. What have you seen at NCAA basketball? You don't have to talk about you specifically, but anything catching your eye?
I mean, a lot of this controversy around Darren Peterson from Kansas and kind of his play or lack thereof at the college level, and how that can translate or even his ability not to play through certain injuries, the flu or little things like that. But I think AJ DeVance is the best wing in college basketball. I think Cam Boozer, he had a monster game in DC the other day. I'm sorry, I think it was Saturday. I guess number one team in the country in Michigan. A big reason why Duke should be ranked number one. Well,
but let's stop down on the Kansas thing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So your thoughts is what? You know what I mean?
It wasn't a good look for him the other night. If you looked, it looked like he kind of took himself out of the game after he hit the basket.
Look, he did.
He did. I can benefit. I'm trying to benefit the doubt. It didn't look good, and then
I heard it's not the first time.
Correct. And then there have been some big matchups. I believe they were supposed to play. I don't remember who it was. They were a top team in the country, and he didn't suit up because he had the flu. So they're saying that he doesn't really want to play through certain injuries, and there have been GMs saying they wouldn't take him number one because they feel as though he has this NBA mentality of not wanting to play already, and they don't want to attach their name to him, and he doesn't want to play through certain injuries, or doesn't want to give it his all when he's out there. That's just what they're saying. And if one person saying it's coming from more than one person, I think it's not a good look, but it's only what someone is allowing you to do when you're that star. And the rumor is he didn't get all his NIL money, so now he's not playing as hard. That's the rumor.
So here's a question, and I'm gonna say this. We've been this whole tanking discussion has been happening in the NBA over the last few weeks, with a lot of teams taking their foot off the gas, resting their starters. Adam Silver came out over the All-Star break talking about we're going to put in some new rules to stop teams from tanking. So, look, I get the one and done thing. You want to try to keep college basketball alive by making sure that players at least have to go and spend 1 year in college so that we still keep that game and they're not just jumping straight to the NBA like they were doing at one point. But from his perspective, if you're a top prospect and you say you're not really that concerned about the money from the NBA right now because you're making money in college with the nil money, and if you're not going to the worst team in the league or the second worst team in the league or the third worst team in the league, but instead you get drafted to a team that's not that bad and you're a superstar talent, quote unquote, is that a strategy? Is there some type of 3D chess or 4D chess being played to say, I don't want to go play in New Orleans. I don't want to go play, you know what I mean, in Washington. I maybe do want to play a little, not give it my all, and someone say, oh, I'm not going to take him. And then he goes to Orlando and he hooks up with a team that might be a piece away, or goes to, you know what I mean, a team that probably ain't that bad, but they just had a middle of the pack record, and he gets on that team. Next thing you know, your whole career trajectory could be completely different. What's y'all thought on that? Is this a 4D chess move? Since the money really ain't that much of a difference no more, because you can make money in college or before you even get to the league now. Justin,
that's tough.
It is tough.
He might be a money guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if the money funny, you know, I'm not. You're not going to see me there. But if his money, if the money's right, then I'll show up. Don't worry, I'm gonna earn that check. Like Floyd, right? You know, I know it's a different sport, but hey, man, when that money right, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out. You know, it could be that kind of a thing. But to what you were saying, Larry, that's tough. Because you never know how the draft is going to go because of the NBA lottery. So you know who's going to have what and what position, how far is he going to drop, and all those things. But the thing is, all this wouldn't even be an issue if he wasn't that good. The boy is good. The boy.
If he know he can rest on that,
you know, I'm not saying they saying like Kobe S. Like I'm not saying Kobe, but if there's some type of Kobe Bryant / Anthony Edwards like that range, that's a hell of a projection.
That's true.
So
you can't talk being soft and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence though. So you got to calm down those comparisons, in my opinion.
I agree.
I said skill set. That is mid range, fallaways, fadeaways. That kind of his game, not his mentality, not the Mamba mentality.
You're a business at this point. You actually, you know what I mean? They got the rights to your contract, but if they're not honoring it, what you agreed to, yeah, maybe he is making a business decision. I don't know.
Look, I take your point, and I agree with you to an extent. I think this is somewhat the wrong year to make that argument, even though you have the lottery aspect. When you look at a team like Indiana's going to have a top draft pick, Indiana's going to get their point guard back next year. They were just in the finals, 8 months ago. So they're going to go right back to the top. You look at a team like Atlanta that has New Orleans pick. They can add to a team. So you can go to a team that's competing for the playoffs this year and make them better. I'm not saying you want to live in Indiana, but basketball-wise, that's a good situation to be in next year when you have Halliburton back 100% and you have a Zubac that's going to be in the middle as well. So if you're an AJ or Darren Peterson or a Cam Boozer, and you're put in that position where a team a year prior was in the finals of Game 7, and now they add you to that mix, and that's the only reason they were bad was because their point guard was hurt. That's a good basketball situation to be in. So like you want to get there.
If this was football, I agree with you, but it's not. It's a lottery.
I said you don't know. Take out the lottery aspect. You don't know the draft order until what? April, May, whenever that comes out. And at that point.
And speaking of that, do y'all think they should get rid of? Because they talk about all these things that work against tanking. The lottery kind of like you could tank and still not get it. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. I think that's the ultimate tank buster. I mean, but to me, like, how do you should penalize the owners for not spending money. You should penalize people with draft picks. You know what I mean? You should do something to hurt teams for not competing. But I don't know exactly what the answer is, because at the end of the day, if the rich keep getting richer, we're not going to get nothing different. You know what I mean? It's going to be the same thing. So, I mean, you got to do something to mix it up. You do, Justin.
That was interesting when they was throwing it out there, and one of the, I guess, solutions was to make the rookies free agents, right? So, that in itself will be like, well, if you're a top tier team, then probably you already kind of maxed out like against the cap when it comes to paying your guys. So it will leave room for the lower tier people to get you anyway. But I don't know. I think that's what the lottery was for, right? To take the bottom half that don't make the playoffs, put them in the joint, and see what happens.
Do you agree with that? Agree with your that? Yeah,
the free agent thing.
It'd be interesting
if they want to get money, and if that's what it's about. That's a hell of a way to get started. I'm not mad at it.
I tweak that a little slightly, but I agree with the premise. I take like you say, like you take draft pick from last year. Why am I blanking on his name again?
Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag. You take Cooper Flag. You have the top 5 teams. So you have Dallas, you have Sacramento, San Antonio, Atlanta, and Utah. You take a consensus. He's number 1 pick. He goes out there and he picks from those top 5 teams. And then you go through there throughout the lottery. So he has to pick, but he can only pick from one of those 5 teams. So if he doesn't want to go to Dallas, he wants to go to San Antonio, he says that.
He can sign whatever team he wants.
Correct. And then the consensus number 2 pick that's voted on by the teams, he does that and he picks his team for the next 5. So you do that.
So the player picks the team.
So the player picks the team, but he can only pick from one of 4 or 5 teams. He can't pick from the whole league. That's 1. 2, I recommend removing the individual salary cap from the players, not the team salary cap, but the individual salary cap. So no longer is your salary maxed at 35% of the team cap. They can pay you $100 million if they want to, but you still have to abide by that team salary cap. So if Utah wants to pay Giannis $100 million and Atlanta can only pay him 50, he got to make that decision. But he can go wherever he wants to take as much money as he can. There's still but the team salary it's still a salary cap though. It's still a salary cap. Well, they already have a luxury tax.
I mean, you had to extend it then.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still re-sign over the cap, like your bird rights, but then we can cap that. But as far as free agency, no salary cap for individual salary. So you can go wherever you want to based off what you think your value is.
Okay. Well, we're going to table that. We're going to table that and bring it back next week because we up against the top of the hour. And we appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. We told you we was going to stay an hour tonight, and we sticking true to our time. And we appreciate you all tuning in. Next week, we'll be back with our regular 2-hour program. And we're going to continue this discussion, come out with some more ideas. How can we fix the NBA? Calvin, that was a great one. I hate to end it on that one, but that's a good way to end it. Any final thoughts before we run, Justin?
Whoop that trick.
Yeah. Win Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, this weekend. Unfortunately, we couldn't preview it because I know Justin got another podcast. Check out Justin's podcast.
Can we get a vote to have Booker T do the introduction? Because it ain't the same.
I think they need to call him up, man. Put him on SmackDown, man. Please, you gotta get rid of Joe Tessitore. He got to go.
Well,
Joe got to go.
Let's pull a plug on this show because anyway, thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll be back next week for another edition. Get off. Have a good night, guys.